Hey guys, it's WhatiF here. I wanted to make this video just because a couple of rule changes, things have come out with what the NASCAR season is going to consist of, with things they have in mind. So I want to talk about it because I think it's important. There's a reason why there's a rant. We'll get to it, but we'll start off with some positives. I think that's fair. So the first thing is this here with the Ross Chastain rule. We'll look at this first. NASCAR will use to outlaw future wall ride. This policy was already in the books, but was previously not enforced for racing moves. So, remember when I was thinking back in my race review if this was even a thing, or Chastain did something that wasn't in the rule book? Well, apparently it was always there. Why was this not addressed? Why was this not brought up before? I don't know. But this kind of brings up another kind of giant problem because NASCAR willingly let this rule slide just for short-term social media attention. That's the only thing I could think of. The move was so asinine, so wild that they just kind of let it happen. Because if they were to do anything, then maybe people would have given it too much backlash, or maybe people would have hated it. But in Denny Hamlin's case, he got completely screwed out of being in the Final Four because someone rode the wall that was against the rules. So it's good that it's a thing that they're going to enforce, but why did they not do it before if this was just always in there? So leave it to NASCAR to always be inconsistent and just bizarre and weird with these decisions. So yeah, I don't know what to say with that, but that's good. I'm more ranting on anything, but just like it's just weird. Like, is that? It just doesn't make sense. I don't know. So another Inglux tweets here. NASCAR eliminates stage racing at road courses, except for Xfinity and Truck Stand events. So, yes, good. That's a good step in the right direction. I always thought stage yellows were stupid when they were conceptualized in 2017 when that became a thing. I always thought that was dumb and bad. And it was exceptionally dumb and bad at the road courses. Will this solve the road course racing going forward? Probably not, because these Gen 7 cars just aren't that good at road courses. Really, the only track I could think of that was a little bit better than average was Coda, and maybe like the 2 laps at Road America, maybe, but that everywhere else it was not good at all. So I mean, it's gonna fix it. I'm glad they're doing it. It's a step in the right direction. I wish they just got rid of stage yellows altogether. Like, we live in such a technological age, we don't have the technology to keep a race going after like a stage ends. Like, we have to stop what is this, 1992, where we have to stop everything, we have to calculate the points by hand? Like, is that, like, what are we doing? How would that be that complicated or that tough that it just breaks everything? So I don't know. It's good. It's, like I said, it's a step in the right direction. I like it. I hope this means that one day we can get rid of stage racing altogether. It breaks the flow of a race. It's stupid and awful and it's just terrible to know when you race you're going to have a guaranteed predetermined yellow, and it goes against the spirit of racing, because when the yellow happens, it's not supposed to be a planned thing. It's an unexpected thing, and it's just, I miss the days in NASCAR where you go from point A to point B, green flag to checkered, and go from there. Like, I so much has been lost through that, so I'm hoping this is the first footstep to getting to ridding that entirely. So this, we'll get to the, I wanted to save this for last for a reason. No more top 30 rule to make the playoffs. If you win a race in your full time, you're in. Let's just have anyone that, like, just, my brain cells are leaving my body trying to process this, because not only have the playoffs been so diluted and watered down because a win you're in thing is stupid, has always been stupid ever since it came out in 2014. And it was shown this season when Austin Dillon, who won in a Mickey race, what? Might as well be a race, but in a Mickey race where rain came, destroyed the whole field, and Dillon was just lucky enough to get around it. He got that win. That bumped Truex out, who was running like top 5 in points, got screwed out of that by someone that just got a lucky win. It's stupid. And now it's just going to go to anyone, which, what we have like 36 full-time drivers anymore with these charters. Charters being bad is a whole other rant on its own. Because, yeah, so now, like, all 36 full-time drivers now have a shot. Instead of the top 30, granted, it's like only 6 more, but they just made it actively worse and just more of a farce. So, if BJ McLeod, who happens to be outside top 30 in points, gets a Daytona win or some absolutely insane... It's such horseshit. It's just absolute crap. So someone that's running like... Just because, like, NASCAR's notion is, like, a win means so much. It goes beyond consistency. It goes beyond anything else just about. It is astronomically stupid to do this. Not only are the playoffs ridiculously padded as hell, with being, 16 people now? Whenever they do that group photo, people have to stand back. The photographer has to stand, 30, 40 feet back just to get all 16 in the shot. It's ridiculous. And not only is there 36 full-time drivers now, or roughly, and 16 spots. That is almost 45% of the field are in the playoffs. That's not illustrious. That waters down the legitimacy of a playoff format. Like, when you have more than half the field make it, why can't it be the top 10 like it was originally conceived? Most of the playoffs, if they're going to use this format, most of the other rounds aren't really that interesting until we get to the round of 8 where it's the more competitive people. So, I don't know. It's amazing that they did all this good stuff. The Hale Millen move, that's not going to be a thing. The circumstances behind it, yeah, that's dumb. How that was apparently in the rules and they just ignored it, and Hamlin got cucked for really no real reason, and that was stupid. Then no stage yellows at road courses. Okay, that's good. I like that. And then we get to this that just... NASCAR is just never going to learn to just not be stupid. It's always going to be like that. It's just... Why? A lot of these ideas were from Brian France, who was probably coked out of his mind with the ideas he came up with, and we're still following his freaking plans and ideology on a championship format. Why are we still following that? It's mind-boggling. Since Brian France left, you would think, okay, next season we'll overhaul everything, and no. Despite the dwindling attendance, even though last season was pretty good, but dwindling attendance from 2019, 2020, 2021, and a little bit of it upwards in 2022. Why are we still going with his cockamamie ideas still? Why? I can live with not having a full season format. We can meet halfway and have it be just 10 races, go from there. And then have the playoff points be a factor. Or, if you want to still have the super damn rounds, at the bare minimum, I just don't want one race to determine a championship. Get rid of the win you're in, have it only be 10 people, and have the Final Four championship round not be one race. One race should not determine the championship. That is asinine. That should have never been a thing. And it was just awful. So what, because a pit crew had one mistake, that's going to just jeopardize the whole season? Now, if it played out weeks and weeks in advance and it just came down to that it's just cramming that square into the circle hole so much to artificially, inject drama when it's like taking a shit. This is the only best way I can interpret it as. A shit goes the best when you just let it come out of your body. Just let it happen naturally. When you force it out, it's not good on the body. It's just not good. That's my wacky analogy, but I don't know. So yeah, that's stupid. That just makes it even more like that just opens up more avenues for people to just get in that don't really deserve it. So let's look at racing reference. Let's look at just for example, just like who were outside the top 30 in 2022. Okay, so here's our 2022 point standings. With the like people that are past the top 30 in points. So, okay, Kurt doesn't count because he wasn't really, so Corey LaJoy, Cody Ware, David BJ McLeod, though he's not in points, but yeah, just a lot of random people that could just, if they were full time, could have gotten it. And even by this, there's not even, it doesn't even look like there's, how many are even full time looking at this? I thought it was maybe 36, but it doesn't really look like it. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it's not as big of a deal as I thought, but why? Why make it worse? Even if it's like a slight like, oh, it's like, okay, it was really bad before with how they did it. Now they're making it worse. Even if it's just that little bit, it's like, why? What's the point? Like, I don't know if we're gonna have every season like last year where there was so many different winners. It could happen again. You never know. But I don't know. It's just sometimes the decisions, and it just leaves me wondering why am I watching? I don't know. I mean, it's just another baffling decision. Also on Twitter, I don't know if I can find the original tweet, but Scott Miller got fired for race director. Yeah! Because he was horrible, awful, no good, terrible at what he was doing last season, and it was a complete disaster. I think Ellen Sawyer's being there, so, I mean, having someone that's younger, hopefully, will have a bit more consistent calls, though I highly doubt it, but at least instead of it being, like, just, the embarrassing disaster, like, Texas was, Bristol, for example, and other tracks probably that had random inconsistent yells, like the Roval, where the sign was on the track for like 40 laps and then they decided to throw it like so much later. It's like, how do you miss it when it's on the weird things like that? Maybe those will be fixed. I don't know, but that was nice to hear. And yeah, I mean, it can't get much worse than last year with some of the calls. So who knows? I mean, maybe it'll be better. It's hard to say. Don't forget about Vegas. Remember what happened in Vegas in the Xfinity series where Brennan Jones got like slightly sideways and that was a yellow. And not only did that screw Gregson have a win, who had the best car. And I mind you, I hate Gregson with a fire passion, but with someone that probably deserved to win the race gets cucked by a yellow that shouldn't have happened. Not only did it bone Gregson, but also boned Allmendinger, who was really the best driver like all season long. Got completely cucked out of that because of that yellow. So, yeah. Point is, throwing random yellows that don't need to happen or that aren't warranted can have a gigantic implication on the actual race itself. That's why you only throw yellows when it's really necessary, not when some cars are just slightly sideways, or throw a yellow or throw yellow like 40 laps after the fact, like a sign's like on the racing surface, and they don't throw until much later just to artificially make something interesting. So, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of my thoughts on the whole situation. Starting off this year on a ranty note, which I don't know if I like, but a lot of people seem to enjoy it, so I don't know. But at least there was some good things with some of these stuff that came out. So, yeah. Also, there's a whole debacle about the mufflers. I don't care. I don't care. If the pitch is slightly different, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. The only thing it bothers me is they ever go to electric one day and the cars are just completely silent. Then I'll be like, okay, we got a problem. But with that's a non-issue for me. So, yeah, I don't know. That does it for me. That's my thoughts. Bye.